It is an amazing day for Yu-Gi-Oh! Kicking off the lockdown tournament with Mekk Knight Invoked versus Rokket Dragon Link. Now I'll talk about the tournament a little later, but let's start off with this live game. As Rokket Dragon Link is going to start off with normal summoning Starly Safer to their side of the field, using its effect to add an appropriate dragon monster as the dragon monsters that they sent to the graveyard, the corresponding level, from the deck to the hand. They're going to add Black Dragon Calypso and proceed to special summon it to their side of the field by banishing the Starly Safer. The Dragon Rokket Link deck is really fun to play. There are so many variations to get into this current combo, this play line that it's going to make, and this one is actually a 1.5 card combo, making a Striker Dragon off with a Black Dragon Calypso that gets a little bit different in this particular sequence because Rokket Dragon Link has different cards. Now, typically, you want to go into this exact pace sequence, Striker Dragon, off of the Black Dragon Calypso searched by the Safer, to add a Boot Sector launch and a White Dragon Wyver Buster. Now, the difference between both of those play lines is that depending on your hand, you can skip going into your Dragoonity Knight Romulus to search the Ravine to search a Rokket Tracer and go straight into the Heretic Seal, something that this Rokket Dragon Link deck is going to do. So they're already permitted that form of negation or that form of disruption without having to use the additional resource by making a Romulus. They're going to activate their Field Spell and Boot Sector launch to special summon Rokket Tracer to their side of the field, and Rokket Tracer will destroy said Boot Sector launch after Boot Sector launch special summon that Rokket Tracer to be able to special summon a Rokket monster from their deck to the side of the field. Now, for the duration of this turn, they're completely locked to only being able to special summon dark monsters from the extra deck to their side of the field, which is perfectly fine because they already have the Heretic Seal. The monster that is going to follow up is Silver Rokket Dragon, which is an amazing card for this strategy, but unfortunately, they're not going to be using its particular effects. Now, about this lockdown tournament, it is seriously a series of live duels with the decks you guys choose. It is really exciting. And again, we got to get back into this game. I'm going to explain it a little bit later. I'm just too excited. As Silver Rokket Dragon will be used into LP, and the Rokket Tracer will be used into a Striker Dragon. Now there's going to be two arrows lining up with Heretic Seal and Striker Dragon for LP to be able to special summon, but it looks like Psi Frame Gear Gamma is going to be chained, negating the Guard Dragon LP. Whoa! That's going to completely destroy Rokket Dragon Link's complete combo sequence by getting a Psi Frame Driver and Gamma to the side of the field. Now that I have a little bit of time to talk about the lockdown tournament, I'm too excited about this. Again, it is a series of live duels that you guys are going to see, the decks that you guys get to choose. It is freaking awesome, and I have to thank everyone in my Discord. I have to thank everyone for pitching in on this idea. The idea of it is, again, you join the Discord, you get to select which decks get to be played, and again, we play to the best of our ability these decks. Now, unfortunately, I would love to have all of you guys over my house so we can record this game, but we got to stick to my guys because of, obviously, the reason why the tournament exists. This is so you guys can actually get a good in-depth feel of what the best decks of the format are, and you also get to see your favorite deck. So, of course, if you want to see more of this, go ahead and check it out on the Discord, but also let us know down below in the comment section what decks are you most excited about. So it looks like Rokket Dragon Link already thought about a secondary combo, using World Legacy Guard Dragon to be able to special summon Rokket Tracer back to their side of the field, and they're going to dive in for another play. It's pretty awesome to figure out that, or find out that Rokket Dragon Link is really hard to stop in the new iteration of it, because if you do stop one of its hardest choke points, LP, depending on the amount of extenders, they can actually keep pushing forward. The game plan for Rokket Dragon Link is always to make a board that your opponent just can't break. But even with Master Rule 5, they're going to have some cards to be able to recover into another board if the opponent does happen to break it. So it looks like Guard Dragon Pisty is going to special summon Rokket Tracer, and Striker Dragon is going to use its effect to be able to add a Silver Rokket Dragon from the deck to the hand. So Psi Frame Gear Gamma may just not stop anything, as it looks like they are going to prepare themselves for another play using Pisty and Rokket Dragon for another Link summon. You obviously can't synchro summon with a Link monster into Quad Barrel Dragon. Now, Quad Barrel Dragon will be able to discard said Rokket monster, Silver Rokket, from the hand to the graveyard, destroy itself, and special summon Tracer and Silver Rokket back to the side of the field. it's also a Link 2 monster that is in the graveyard. So when Rockets decide to synchro summon using Silver Rokket and Rokket Tracer, they are actually able to make an Borreload Savage Dragon that can equip the Quad Barrel Dragon to it, giving them 2 negations. So imagine having your play line completely disrupted, but still being able to come back into the game. Being able to equip the Quad Barrel Dragon, making Borreload Savage Dragon 3,500 attack. That is too strong. 2 disrupts, even after having their main play sequence disrupted. Rokket Dragon Link is considered one of the best decks of the format. Deck is freaking phenomenal. I think that's going to be it for their turn, as now they're going to use the effect of World Legacy Guard Dragon to move the Borreload Savage Dragon to a different zone. It's kind of a jerk move to do that, because they could have just summoned the Borreload Savage Dragon into a different zone, but no, they wanted to get Mekk Knight's hopes up. And probably you guys as Jimmy's Russell. So moving back to Mekk Knights, it's going to be pretty hard to break this board, but they're going to start off with Unexpected Die. Now this card does allow them to special summon a level 4 normal monster from their deck to their side of the field. They're going to take full advantage of that effect, allowing them to special summon a Mekk Knight Avram. Avram is actually a lot better than what some people give credit. It is a 2000 light level 4 psychic monster, but more importantly, it carries Mekk Knight in its name. If you can special summon Avram to your side of the field and follow up with an Alistair the Invoker, you can immediately go into your Mekk Knight Morning Sun, or you can go into your Alistair Invoker of Madness, because they both provide the exact same, the perfect materials for both cards. A card is going to be set face down and followed up by Mekk Knight Red Moon. It looks like it's going to be decision time for Rokket Dragon Link, as they are going to use the effect of Heretic Seal to bounce the Red Moon to the hand. Since Heretic Seal, or since Red Moon is a hard once per turn, you can only special summon it using its effect that way. It looks like that threat just might be completely out of the table. It also seems that the Heretic Seal is going to special summon a Rokket Tracer to the side of the field, allowing them to destroy another card on their side of the field to be able to special summon a Rokket monster, and all of your other Rokket monsters float. Mekk Knight Purple Nightfall is going to find itself in the same zone under Borreload Savage Dragon in the face down card, and Purple Nightfall is going to use its effect to banish the Mekk Knight Avram to be able to search a card. Unfortunately, Borreload Savage Dragon is going to use one of its negations. It's going to negate the effect of Mekk Knight Purple Nightfall. I love that, Jack. You're amazing. I just have to take the time out to say that your edits are God. But yeah, it just looks like Mekk Knight is going to follow with Terraforming to be able to search that magical meltdown. I just have to give my boy credit. I apologize for getting out of commentary. But Alistair the Invoker is going to be summoned. That's going to be able to search a invocation from the deck to the hand. But man, I cannot tell you how excited I am to watch this quality. And I know you guys are like, whoa, these live duels are definitely taking up another level, as they look really, really good. So it looks like the invocation is going to be set face down, but both the Alistair and the Mekk Knight Avram will be used for a link summon into Mekk Knight Morningstar. And Morningstar will use its effect to be able to discard the Red Moon to the graveyard to now be able to search a World Legacy card from the deck to the hand. It's going to be World Legacy Monstrosity, which is, again, one of the more curious cards to add. Normally you'd add World Legacy Secrets, but this deck is already on the roll, using the effect, or no, not using the effect of Invocation just yet. They're going to go ahead and special summon Mekk Knight Indigo Eclipse to the side of the field, and then use the effect of the invocation now to banish the Avram and the Alistair the Invoker. That's going to fusion summon into the Invoked Macabre. Next, it looks like Invocation is going to activate its effect, adding that Alistair to the hand while also shuffling the Invocation into the deck. Mekk Knights have actually did a really good job of establishing a huge board. Mekk's like game plan is a little bit different from Rokket. It is a deck that can go second very well, and its game plan is to break the opponent's board and potentially swing for as much damage as possible, and use World Legacy Monstrosity on your Invoked Macabre to special summon 2 level 9 monsters and eventually make true King of all calamities. This deck is rather good, as World Legacy Guard Dragon Mardark is going to be special summoned, as well as a card that you guys probably have never seen in Annihilator Archfiend. This card is amazing from the Ignition Assault set, if I am correct, it allows you to destroy a card on your side of the field to destroy an opponent's card. Before, Mekk Knights would have to play some pretty wonky level 9 monsters that wouldn't be Light Machine or Dragon Wind. And Annihilator Archfiend just happens to be a dark theme, so it fits the requirements, and it gets you a free form of disruption, using its effect to destroy the Magical Meltdown to destroy the Borreload Savage Dragon. The deck is ready to run, and Rokket Tracer could activate its effect, but unfortunately it's a little too late, as Invoked Macabre could just discard the Alistair the Invoker to the graveyard and negate and banish the Tracer. It looks like both Mekk Knight monsters will be used for a Link Summon right into Lib. Wow, who thought that that card would be a card that would be played? But this card is actually freaking phenomenal. It's going to be able to set a World Legacy card to the side of the field, and it was Link Summoned because Monstrosity is in the graveyard. It's going to set the secrets, but this game already looks over, as True King of All Calamities is going to hit the field, and both Morningstar and Lib will be used for a Link Summon into Mekk Knight Crusadia Avalanche, triggering the effect of Lib to be able to spin the Rokket Tracer. Now, Rokket Tracer can't activate its effect, but Invoked Macabre will chain to be able to banish the Rokket Tracer and swing for game. That was insane, ladies and gentlemen. And of course, if you guys want to see the deck profiles for these strategies, let's give this video a like. But also, for my Patreons, I have it for you guys early. Rockets are going to go ahead and start off first using Quick Launch to be able to special summon a Rokket monster from their deck to their side of the field. They're going to go ahead and special summon Rokket Tracer. And Rokket Tracer is one of the most important cards to the strategy. It is the card that you want to go into. Right here, Rokket Tracer can actually trigger its effect to destroy a face-up card on the field, destroying Rokket or Quick Launch to be able to special summon an additional Rokket. But again, you would only be stuck into special summoning dark monsters for the duration of the turn. So it looks like that's not going to be the play with Rokket. They're going to go ahead and use Silver Rokket Dragon immediately for a Link Summon into Striker Dragon. And Striker Dragon will be able to add that Boot Sector launch. Now, the cool thing about Rockets is that with the new Master Rule, it allows them to actually have a pass going first board. And that's going to be pretty vital, as Mekk Knight's game plan is to go into a game of attrition. The deck wants to go into those grindy games because it can out-resource almost any deck in the game right now, meaning that even if True King of All Calamities is in its play, even if Mekka is in its play, it has so many other cards up its sleeve to just continuously gain resources and advantage and then pound out the opponent. So Rokket is definitely going to have to prepare for that. One of the cards that they have in their arsenal is Boot Sector Launch, which allows them to just manipulate how Mekk Knights were able to summon their monsters. So, of course, Mekk Knights would break a board and summon a ton of monsters, but Boot Sector Launch would allow Rockets to come back into the game. And that's why we thought that this was an amazing matchup for you guys to see. And that's why it is the first matchup you guys are going to see in the Lockdown Tournament. So it looks like Rokket is going to go ahead and go into their standard combo, same as you guys have seen. Putting 4 dragons to your side of the field pretty much equals this combo, as Guard Dragon LP will use his effect to special summon where Striker Dragon and Heretic Seal point to. Now, the monster in question that is going to be special summoned is Darkness Metal Dragon. Darkness Metal Dragon, when sent to the graveyard, will search a Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon from the deck to the hand. And it looks like Striker Dragon will follow up using its effect to destroy itself to add a Rokket Tracer back from the graveyard to the hand. So the next play line is going to obviously use the Black Metal Dragon for a Link Summon into Guard Dragon Pisty. That's going to trigger the effect of Black Metal Dragon to add Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon from the deck to the hand. And, you know, normally Guard Dragon Pisty would be locked out of using its effect because where both the Heretic Seal and the Pisty point to, there is a monster already. But you're just going to go ahead and banish the Guard Dragon LP for the summon of Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon, using the effect of Red Med to be able to special summon a dragon monster to the side of the field. Now, if I believe correctly, the first dragon you summon does not matter at all. He's going to go ahead and use it to special summon Black Metal Dragon. If he played another Red Eyes card, I guess that would be a good search. And use both of those monsters for a Link Summon into Dillingerous Dragon, using the effect of Pisty to now special summon that Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon back to his side of the field. This time around, it has to be a Rokket monster that has to be special summoned, which Metal Rokket Dragon is going to be brought back to the side of the field. Now it looks like both Red Eyes and Dillingerous will be used for a Link. That's going to go ahead and make that triple burst dragon. And now Rockets will be able to make their full potential board as Gyre Dragon, Pisty, and Metal Rocket Dragon will be used for another link right into that Quad Burrow. But Quad Burrow is not going to destroy itself this time. It's going to use its effect targeting the triple burst, discarding the Rocket Tracer that was added. And then it'll be able to summon 3 Rocket monsters from the graveyard to your side of the field. That's going to equate to a Rocket Tracer, a Metal Rocket Dragon, and it also looks like a Silver Rocket Dragon, the Silver Rocket being the most important out of the 3. He's also going to be able to summon Dillingerous Dragon back to his side of the field since Rocket monsters were summoned, and he'll take full advantage using Dillingerous and Quad Burrow for another link summon right into his Unchained Abomination. Next, it looks like he is going to use both the Metal Rocket and the Rocket Tracer for a Synchro Summon. That's going to make one of the strongest Synchro monsters in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Card game inside of Warlord Savage Dragon. Savage Dragon then using its effect to equip the Triple Burst Dragon, which is going to make that Warlord Savage Dragon completely strong. It's going to be 4,200, and it looks like Rockets are not taking any chances, placing all cards in different columns, making it harder for Mekk Knights to be able to gain their abilities. Using the effect of Unchained Abomination on end phase, they'll destroy the Silver Rocket Dragon, and they'll trigger its effect to be able to go through Mekk Knight Invoke's extra deck and banish the True King of All Calamity, which is a very smart move because this Invoked deck can make True Kings of All Calamities rather aggressively. They're going to go ahead and pass it back after triggering the effect of Silver Rocket to spell summon Rocket Tracer, and it looks like that's going to be the end of the turn. True King of All Calamities being banished. Mekk Knights, unfortunately not having any disrupt. Hand traps are played inside of both decks, but it doesn't seem to be their thing right now. As Mekk Knight Invoked is having an opportunity to go, they're going to try to break this board, which is Rocket's best board. This is what they do. This is a board that they can consistently make, whether you have the safer or not. The deck can always make a board similar to this, which is quite dangerous. Rocket Tracer being able to destroy a card, which will trigger Abomination, Warlord Savage Dragon for that negation, and of course Heretic Seal being able to bounce a card and summon another dragon. But all of it does not matter as Game Seal, the Sea Turtle Kaiju, is going to summon itself, tributing off the Unchained Abomination and making a column for Mekk Knights to play in. Now, it's really interesting why the Unchained Abomination was tributed instead of the Warlord Savage Dragon, as Unexpected Die is going to follow up, but it does make sense. Unchained Abomination actually destroyed cards. Warlord Dragon, he doesn't destroy anything. So sometimes getting your monster effects negated is okay. As long as you get to keep your monster, you can follow up. As Mekk Knight Blue Sky is going to be summoned in the double column, but Rocket Tracer is going to trigger its effect, destroying the Gamma Seal and not letting Mekk Knight getting into 2 Mekk Knight monsters. I can tell you, if you can resolve Blue Sky for 2 or 3, boy, it is nothing but a problem for the opponent. They are going to be in some dangerous situations if you are allowed to resolve and get 3 searches. So it looks like Avram is going to be used for a link, and Red Moon is going to be the card search from the deck to the hand. That's going to go ahead and make Link Spider, but unfortunately Red Moon can only destroy monsters in the same column. But it looks like Purple Nightfall is going to be summoned Nightfall using its effect. That's going to target a Mekk Knight monster on the field, but it's going to be countered by the effect of your Heretic Seal of Heavenly Spheres. It's going to bounce the Mekk Knight. I'm assuming before it can use this effect. Oh, actually, it doesn't matter. It's going to... No. I'm assuming it's after the effect of Mekk Knight Purple, but it doesn't matter. Heretic Seal is going to tribute itself off. Mekk Knight Indigo Eclipse will not be able to use its effect or resolve its effect, and Rocket will also be able to spell summon another Rocket monster to their side of the field. Now, I strongly feel that Rocket should probably start playing a dragon monster that Heretic Seal can actually summon to the side of the field that would actually be preventive for the opponent. Maybe or Morphage Dragon, maybe the Quacky Miru Drago, something like that. And we'll probably incorporate that into the deck profile, but at the current time, trying to make Rocket Dragon Link as consistent, as fast-paced, and being able to break boards as well as make boards was the first thing on our mind. So it looks like both monsters will be used for a Link, the Blue Sky and a Link Spider. and they still have a long way to break this board. Both of those monsters will be used for a link summon into Mekk Knight Morningstar, using its effect to pitch a monster from the hand to the graveyard. That's going to be the Purple Nightfall that was bounced, but Borlo Savage Dragon is going to activate its effect, which I find rather interesting because we know Red Moon is in the hand. Rokket does know that, but maybe with the plethora of resources, I don't know. Alistair the Invoker is going to be normal summon. That's going to be the perfect follow-up for the Borlo Savage Dragon being able to negate, and that's probably why Rocket's held on to that negate so long, either waiting for the Red Moon or the Alistair, but forced to use it on the Morningstar, because Morningstar can add World Legacy cards, and that could be just dangerous. Setting the Invoked and spell summoning the Red Moon to the side of the field, it'd be able to use its effect to banish a Mekk Knight monster to destroy the Savage. Now they don't have to worry about a 4200 attack monster on their side of the field. This deck is actually on a roll right now. Next, I feel that they'll link summon again using both the Alistair and the Red Moon. Unfortunately, they cannot make Lib this time around as there's no World Legacy cards in the graveyard, but they'll actually go into a really good card inside of Alistair, Invoker of Madness. And here's where the madness actually ensues. Very fortunate that Rokket Dragon Link actually banished the True King of all Calamities, because with Alistair on the field, they can activate Invocation twice, summon 2 Makabas to their side of the field. Don't care about Makaba, just use both of those monsters for an Exceed summon right into the True King of all Calamities after attacking. And yeah, Rokket Dragon Link would deal with the problem of 2 of a Calamities. That's too much. But Invoked Makaba will be fusion summoned, and it looks like Drolan Lockbird was the 6th draw, as it will be discarded with Alistair, Invoker of Madness, to be able to search the 2nd invocation. That's pretty crazy, because if they did have that Drolan Lockbird, they probably would have been better off against the Rokket strategy. Adding the Alistair back to the hand by shuffling in the invocation. Looks like they may actually be able to go into invocation again after they get Invoker of Madness to the graveyard. So yes, Invoker of Madness, as well as the Mekk Knight Morningstar, will be used for a link into Mekk Knight Crusadia Avermax. And now, since Madness, another Alistair is in graveyard, the 2nd invocation can follow. And once that card follows up, it's going to banish the Alistair and probably the Drolan Lockbird. There's no reason to have 2 Makabas on the side of the field. That's going to go ahead and summon, you guys should already know, Invoked Raging is one of the more powerful cards in this Yu-Gi-Oh! Card game. It can flip a monster face down. Excellent utility of a card. So Invoked is definitely, or Mekk Knight Invoked is amazing. Being able to break the Rokket board, one of the harder boards to break, attack over all of the Rokket monsters. And here's where Rockets would typically lose. We'd just be scooping up and going into game 3. But Rokket Dragon Link knows that there is hope. They actually do have a shot of being able to break this board and come back into this game. Yes, all of their resources are completely drained. There's nothing left inside of their strategy because they went through most of their extra deck, making the board that they currently have. As both players exchange each other's decks, Rokket monsters will activate. Rokket Tracer will be able to special summon itself to the side of the field. And the crazy thing about this is that Rockets don't play enough Rockets, so they won't be able to use the effect of Magna Rokket to be able to special summon another Rokket. Rokket Tracer is all they have, and that's going to be pretty much it. As Rokket is now going to go ahead and take their turn. They're looking through their graveyard for something devious. They still do have quite the few plays, ladies and gentlemen. This is what actually makes the Rokket deck so strong, is because, again, even after you break this card's combo, which is typically a 1 to 2 card iteration, it still has some amazing plays. Striker Dragon is going to be banished, as well as Black Metal Dragon. And it looks like they're going to be going for a Chaos Dragon Levianeer play, which is stupid good. That's going to be able to force the Invoked Makaba's effect to be able to negate Levianeer. So all 3 monsters will be used for the summon of Chaos Dragon Levianeer. That effect is forced to use, or that effect is going to force Invoked Makaba's effect. That's going to discard a card to negate and banish the Chaos Dragon, or just lose the card and it won't be able to activate. And now it looks like Rockets are going to follow up with the card that they really want to use, which is Pot of Avarice. This is what I'm talking about when I say that Rokket Dragon Link is so resilient. Pot of Avarice was amazing, or is amazing, completely godlike for the deck. because it literally allows the Rokket Dragon Link to reset. Now that we have a little bit of downtime though, let me talk to you guys about our sponsors at Imperium Duelists. These are really good quality mats. They also make sleeves and whatnot. You can go ahead and use the code CaliEffect 10 off to receive 10% off your entire purchase. I'll also be sure to leave this down below, not only in the videos, in the description, but I'll also leave it down as a pinned comment on how you guys can see deck profiles and of course the deck profile. In the Imperium Duelist. And of course, if you guys are always buying cards on TCGPLAYER, use the link that I'm providing for you guys in the description. Anyways, it helps me as a content creator during this lockdown time because yeah, I need it. But yeah, Pot of Avarice is going to shuffle 5 cards inside of the extra deck, or 4 cards inside of the extra deck as it seems, and 1 card inside of the main deck. They're going to be able to shuffle their deck to draw 2 cards, and depending on what else they have, they could be very much back in this game. Now again, they still have to deal with Invoked Raging, which is a monster that can flip cards face down. They also have to deal with Mekk Avermax, which can't be targeted. It can also get rid of cards and practically can't be destroyed by battle because it gains the monster's attack, and it's 3,000 attack. And they can only attack Avermax too, so Rokket Dragon Link does have a long way to go to break this board, but at least they were able to draw cards through Pot of Avarice. Using the Rokket Dragon or Rokket Tracer, they're gonna make a link summon into Striker Dragon, using the effect of Striker Dragon to add a boot sector launch. Of course, there are no responses from Mekk Knight. Link monsters can't be flipped face down, not that it would negate the effect, and Invoked Macabre has already used its effect. That boot sector launch is going to be added, and Striker Dragon is actually going to destroy itself to add Rokket Tracer back to the hand to be able to follow with an infinite impermanence. Whoa, this is completely bad. That infinite impermanence is going to negate the Invoked Rage, and that's going to be the last disruption that Mekk Knight Invoked has. And then they're going to follow up with the effect of Boot Sector Launch. There are 3 monsters on the opponent's side of the field. There are no monsters on Rocket's side of the field. Proceed to summon 3 Rokket monsters with different names from your graveyard to your side of the field. This is showcasing Rokket Dragon Link's excellent recovery. If this was anyone's game, it's anybody's game. So it looks like Silver Rokket, Magna Rokket, and Metal Rokket will be special summoned to the side of the field. And Rockets have they have new life, let's just put it that way. As their only card that they have to deal with is a Mekk Knight Avermax. Now that soul charge is completely free. There's literally no other stipulations to that. And that's why we feel that the Rokket Dragon Link is a serious contender. Unfortunate that these 2 decks had to fight each other in the beginning rounds. Silver Rokket and Metal Rokket will be used into Quad Burrow Dragon, and Rokket Tracer will be used for a Link 1 into Guard Dragon Pisty. Now that's an interesting situation as Pisty doesn't point to a neutral arrow, but then you take into account World Legacy Guard Dragon. It not only can spell summon a dragon monster to the side of the field, it can also move dragon monsters, as you guys have seen in Game 1. World Legacy Guard Dragon will move Pisty into an appropriate zone where Quad Burrow is pointing to, and now Pisty can now special summon Red Eyes Darkness Metal back to the side of the field. Red Eyes Darkness Metal will special summon a Silver Rokket Dragon to the side of the field as well. This is getting really strange for Mekk Knight Invoked, as the deck is now looking down on a full board after having their entire sequence negated. This is going to be crazy as they have no cards in hand, and if they lose this board, they're going to be top decking for a solution. Rokket already signifying that they special summon Silver Rokket. The fact that they have not used Rokket Tracer's effect is just completely daunting. They're figuring out what is the next play sequence, what is the best play sequence. If you ask me, you probably have to use Pisty and Red Eyes for a Link, or you could just use Rokket Tracer to destroy the Pisty. It doesn't really matter from there. But no, it looks like they're going to use all 4 monsters for a Link, and here's where we have our misplay found by our judges. Thank you so much for our judges. While Pisty is on the field, you cannot attempt to summon a monster that is not a dragon. An Unchained Abomination is not a dragon. Simple fix for this, guys. All you have to do is use the Pisty and the Red Eyes into the Dragoon of the Knight Romulus. You also get a Ravine to your hand, which is pretty cool. And then you can make the Unchained Abomination. It's pretty simple. They'll be able to summon a Borlode Savage Dragon with the remaining 2 monsters, making it 4,200 attack with the triple B Dragon. Or again, they could have also just used Rocket Tracer, which is good. And then a second Pot of Avarice is going to ensue. What is going on here, ladies and gentlemen? This is complete madness, as Rockets have drawn everything they have needed to be able to break Mekk Knight Invoked's board. They're going to be able to shuffle 5 more cards into their deck to draw more cards. Who let this card off the forbidden list? Whose mans is this? Get this card. It is too strong. Looks like they're going to shuffle in all of their Rockets plus Guard Dragon Pisty. They're ready and reloaded for the next sequence, and they'll be able to draw more cards, completely out-advantaging Mekk Knights with simple Pot of Avarices. This is what it takes to be a contender inside of this. Mekk Knight Invoked is definitely looking down a barrel, metaphorically and technically physically, as the Avermax is going to leave the field. Poor low Savage Dragon can negate the battle effect of Avermax to be able to gain an attack. They'll go straight to battle. The only good thing about this is that Avermax can still use its graveyard effect to be able to bounce a monster on the field. So yeah, it looks like Mekk Knight is going to need to top deck a serious card. They're going to be able to get rid of one, either Unchained or Borreload. It's really hard to pick because Unchained Abomination doesn't look really strong right now, but we know that Rokket has a hand size. Borreload Savage Dragon is just in the game. Like that's all it is. It doesn't get rid of the card, which can be useful. So they're going to normal summon Rocket Tracer to the side of the field, declare battle Borreload Savage Dragon to attack over the Avermax. Avermax to use its effect. It's going to be negated by the Savage Dragon. Again, Jack, you're awesome. That is a freaking awesome effect. We got to give a shout out to Jack. You guys know that that's freaking sick. So it's going to be able to get over the Mekk Knight Avermax. Avermax still can use its effect to bounce, and here is where our players are going to have a bit of a discrepancy. Maybe the Borreload Savage Dragon wants to be bounced. That's not the card that you bounce with Borreload Savage Dragon. Obviously, these players are trying to figure out the chain links. So Kana actually had to, our head judge, had to, you know, come into here, step in here, and give a resolution. If I remember correctly, I wish I could find her exact words. One of them is activated in the sub-step 5, which I believe is the effect of Abomination, and one of them activates earlier. I wish I can find our exact words because I think this would be important for you guys. You know what? I actually have her to leave it down below in the comment section how these two monsters would interact with one another, because that's going to be pretty important for you guys in your live games once we get out of this lockdown series. So no, it looks like both players had a little bit of a discrepancy. It's not going to be the Borreload Savage Dragon that's going to be since the graveyard. It's going to be the Unchained Abomination, which is a wise move. Again, you're losing your Unchained, or, you know, keeping your Invoked Mekk, as well as, oh wow, it's a quick launch that's going to be activated. Looks like Mekk Knight is going to scoop. They're going to draw the Sideframe Gear Gamma. It does not matter. But again, losing, you know, your monster, instead of just having its effect negated, they'll be able to follow up with a good play after that. They could follow up, who knows? It's a toss-up between that. But it looks like Mekk Knight is going to go start off strong with a Magical Meltdown. But Rokket actually has a response to that. They're going to use Ash Blossom and Joy Spring in response to the Magical Meltdown, negating it. But almost that does not matter, as Mekk Knight just used it as bait. Alistair the Invoker is going to normal summon itself to the side of the field, adding an invocation from the deck to the hand. And Mekk Knight is ready to roll, using the Alistair for a immediate link into Solomon Great Al-Mirage. That's the only link monster that I think that could have been made at that point in time. And now they're going to set a card face down, creating a column, which will allow them to spell summon Mekk Knight Indigo Eclipse. Both Al-Mirage and Indigo Eclipse will be used for a link. Game 3 is going to be really exciting, guys. There's not a lot of footage left into this, so I'm pretty excited to see what will happen. That Mekk Knight of the Morning Star will be link summoned, using its effect to pitch the another Indigo Eclipse from the hand. And here is where Mekk Knight is going to be able to go first. They're going to show you guys the signature play, as World Legacy Monstrosity is going to be the target for Mekk Knight Morning Star. Rockets have no responses other than the Ash Blossom. Following up with the invocation, banishing the Indigo Eclipse and the Alistair the Invoker to be able to fusion summon to their side of the field. That is going to be an Invoked Mekk. Now, the last thing they're going to follow up with is, of course, that World Legacy Monstrosity. You guys have seen this time after time again, but not before using the invocation to add the Alistair to their hand to negate a potential hand trap that hasn't shown itself. World Legacy Monstrosity, targeting the Invoked Mekk ability to be able to special summon World Legacy Guard Dragon Dark, as well as the Annihilator Archfiend. Both of those monsters can be used for an XC summon and will be used for an XC summon right into True King of all Calamities. And Rockets are in a really hard spot. There is an immediate solution to this, guys, as if Invoked does not have a trap card in the hand, they can't stop Infinite Impermanence. So Rokket can open Infinite Impermanence, use it to negate the Calamities, and then they can actually make a counter board which will allow them to play Yu-Gi-Oh! This is going to be the last stand. If this board is broken, Mekk Knights just might lose the game, as using more resources than they wanted to make this board, they might not have any left. Rokket is definitely looking for an opportunity to move forward in this lockdown tournament round. It's going to be really exciting to see who will be the victor out of all of them, passing their turn right back to Rockets. I think that's going to be it for the Mekk Knight strategy. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's going to be it. Now it's going to be Rocket's turn. They'll draw their card. Do they have an Infinite Permanence? Will they chain it to the True King of all Calamities? And it looks like it's going to be a no. That is so unfortunate, as Rocket Dragon Link cannot activate any of their monster effects. Do they have any spell or traps? Well, I guess there's no traps that you can open up with. But do they have any spell cards to follow up with? Is there going to be anything we are hoping for Rocket Dragon Link? I know there are players pulling for, do they have the guts? They're going to normal summon Starly Safer. Maybe there's something after that. No, it looks like Invoked is going to reveal that they had a trap card after all. They can special summon monsters and it'll go for game next turn. This is over. Mekk Knight Invoked being the first deck in the lockdown tournament being able to advance. I really hope to see you guys voting to find out what will be the next decks. There are some confirmed decks after that, but this was insane, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching, and also a mad thanks to our judges, editors, and everyone in between, players and whatnot. I hope you guys are staying safe and having a great day like I am.